Welcome to Interviews with Innocence, a podcast about spirituality, consciousness, and exploring the wisdom our children bring into this world. I believe that our very young children are our greatest teachers. After all, they're the masters of living in the present moment, bubbling in unconditional love, enjoying the messiness of life, and curious about the universe in all its dimensions. The pure essence that young children exhibit lives within all of us. My hope is that these interviews will help us discover, embrace, and connect with the sacred core of childhood that resides within each of our hearts. I am your host, Marla Hughes.
I am thrilled to have Kathryn Brewer back on the program today. Kathryn was with us last week talking about these psychic, new, highly gifted children that are just coming into this earth today. Kathryn is a mentor, speaker, and author who works with coaches, therapists, teachers, and other conscious leaders on the evolutionary path to catapult their influence, effectiveness, and satisfaction in work and life. She combines decades of experience as a family and marriage therapist and school psychologist. Due to her personal story growing up as a highly gifted and psychic child who struggled to fit in, Kathryn is especially passionate about working with mentors of children and youth to help them navigate the unique challenges and gifts of our newest information. Welcome back to the program, Kathryn. I just I'm not really getting off topic, but it's so obvious that these kids are here to help us also. They're bringing such a huge message to us. And what do you think that message is? I think I know, but
Thank you for asking that. Because I actually, I think the number one message is humanity is evolving. And the world we're going into, aside from technology, the world we're going into in terms of subtle awareness, in terms of heart-centeredness, is not the same that it has been in terms of things coming together instead of being so separate and dual.
right.
We're going into a whole different world. And I see it, we're on the bridge now. We're not in the old world energetically, we're not. So a lot of behavior out there still seems to be, but, and we're not in the new, we're on the bridge. And so
how long do you think we'll be on the bridge?
I don't know. In human design, there is predicted to be a huge, huge change in 2027. There's some others that predict 2050. And the thing is, I think it's a lot of up to us.
Yeah.
Get
out there and spread the word and the light. And because I think, at least for myself, I'm so enmeshed in this world, I can't help but think that everyone is, but it's not when you really, get out there. But I think things are changing because the kids are forcing us to change.
Yes. And
I love them so much and we want to help them so much. We have to learn and understand this. And you talk about the importance of the first 5 years of life. Can you just briefly mention that?
Yes. And even that is different from a lot of what I was taught. There's the psychosocial developmental stages, and the first 5 years create actually brain structure foundation for then what will be filled in for the rest of the life. And that's up till, some say 5, certainly by 7. And beyond that, though, our energetic fields and our energetic structure is not complete till around age 7 or so.
Right.
So our young children are so much more vulnerable. They truly are.
Not to mention, they're still so connected
Yeah.
to spirit and to the source and their intuitive abilities. And so, knowing that the brain is developing, and that if we can celebrate, validate, encourage these abilities, I mean, what a wonderful marriage that would be for the child, for brain development, spiritual development,
Yeah.
for all of that.
And because in the young years, children are very present, they're in the moment,
Mhm. Absolutely.
they are they're a sponge for the whole. They don't separate out. Their experience of a moment is the whole. Their experience of a day is the whole. That's what we're moving into in the future. So if they can maintain that, because the what I was taught is that starts to leave between 5 and 7, certainly by 9, that they're no longer seeing the big picture.
Right.
That's not true. In a lot of today's kids, that is not true.
So that's changing also.
Yes. And what popped in my mind was Buckminster Fuller, and what he says. He said that our children are our elders in universe time.
Yes. And if I can add to that I don't want to say especially, but the gift of having a child on the spectrum, or a child with gifts such as Downs or learning disabilities, or what disabled, those children are such gifts to us too. They are our elders, our teachers. All children are, but I even think sometimes more so, when there's a child like that, in your life. I know that is for my family,
Yes.
my
Yeah.
nephew. Yeah.
And
Wow.
Einstein said that we cannot solve the problems in the same mindset in which they were created. And these kids have a really different mindset.
Yeah. So what do we do? Well, first, let's talk about the emotional skills to help, or the practical skills even, to help compassionately shift behavior when these children are struggling. So you talked about that, just that kind of like the root chakra. Yeah, right. Just putting maybe hands and a little bit of pressure, and that sort of thing, and the rhythmic, like you gave the elephant swinging. I know tapping, that's a little bit faster, but I know some psychologists use that for when a child gets upset. I don't know how you feel about that,
Well,
but
yes. Yes.
stimulation.
The EFT, the emotional freedom technique, tapping. I actually used that. I was on a team that used energy medicine and that tapping
Mhm.
with the genocide orphans in Rwanda, with miraculous, amazing results.
Really?
With
And what was the energy healing part of it? Was it like hands-on, just not just, but I'll use the word Reiki, but it's all, just energy healing.
No, there was one person who was doing some of that, but no,
Yeah.
the energy medicine. This was it's now called the Eden method. It was Donna Eden's energy medicine then. They are techniques, some of them tapping, some of them other kinds of movements that are sort of like qigong, but they realign your energy fields. We talk about our energy meridians that Chinese medicine has used for a long time. That's only one energy system. There's many other energy systems. And Donna Eden was a very sickly child. And when she, like teens or 20, she decided that, and she always saw energy. She saw energy all of her life. So she decided that she would begin to study healthy people and see what their energy fields looked like. And then she'd see what hers looked like. And she'd mess around with it to try to get her energy field to look like the healthy people. That was started her energy medicine system. So we went in the morning with the kids, and we started with drumming and singing and dancing.
Very shamanic, yes.
Yes. And then we did energy medicine, and there's a system she has called the daily routine that has a technique for every one of the major energy systems to bring it more into alignment. And then we would go with our day. So that was how we used energy medicine. And then the tapping we used throughout the day.
Right.
We did it in groups, which is really powerful. When a whole group is tapping on a same issue, or even whether it's the same issue for the whole group, or it's one person's issue, but the whole group is tapping on it.
Right.
Really powerful.
The energy of one becoming one again. Yeah, how powerful. So do you feel that, I'm sure you do, but for let's just talk about a child today that's, I don't like to use the word regular, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
And that every morning to wake up with some maybe chanting or some drumming, or to go to school and have 5 minutes of just quiet meditation and tapping, and then throughout the day, would this help, or for caregivers to do this regularly? From what I hear you saying is that this could really help regulate or settle down their nervous systems,
Yes.
and be able maybe if, to focus more and less anxious and less depression and less all of that seems to be happening today in this world.
Yes. And there's research that shows that, both for EFT tapping and for heart math. Do you know about heart math?
Yes, I do know heart math. Yes.
I did a pilot study with I worked with kids that had been labeled as emotionally disturbed. And so they were in special classes for the emotionally disturbed, which, by the way, many of them were these kids. They were not mentally ill. But we did heart math. I did heart math with them individually, 20 minutes a week. And then there was some reinforcement in the classroom for only 9 weeks. The results were amazing. In fact, there were 3 of the kids that no longer qualified as emotionally disturbed.
And I know, just for our listeners, just briefly tell us a little bit about heart math. That I've been meaning to reach out to them to have someone come on, but I'll have you come back and talk about it. But if you could just briefly explain that'd be great.
Okay, it started with a research that found that there were 40,000 brain cells in the heart. So there is a brain in the heart. And then the research that when there was conflict between the heart's energy and your thinking brain's energy, the heart was primary.
Right.
And then more research that when the heart moved into a state that they're calling coherence, the messages from the heart to the brain made the brain work in its optimum form. So memory was increased, focus was increased, problem solving was increased, emotional management was increased, and the electromagnetic field around the heart came in sync with the electromagnetic field around the earth.
So can you give an example of a child that you did that with and you saw these sorts of results, exactly what you did? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So there is a simple process, and it is HeartMath has adjusted them for different ages. So I was working with middle school and high school, so it was just the regular adult process. Right. Come into heart coherence. It starts with breathing. It starts with, in fact, we could do it right now.
Great.
Okay. So you breathe, you imagine that you are breathing in through your heart. Breathe light in through your heart. And then you breathe love out through your heart. And you breathe slowly. Breathe in through your heart, out through your heart. And you can even imagine that there's like a silver color or some color. Breathe in through your heart, out through your heart. In through your heart, out through your heart. And keep that rhythm going, breathing in through your heart, out through your heart. And then bring to mind something that you feel deep gratitude for or great love. A pet. It could be a place in nature where you feel just happy to be alive. And breathe in and out through your heart, holding that feeling of great gratitude, appreciation, or love. And for little kids, they call it the sunshine secret, and they use the sun rays coming in. And then older kids, they have one called Heart Smarts Adventure, and they've created. When I did it, we mostly used where you could see your heart rhythm,
right,
calming down, and you could hear tones, different tones, when it was in more coherence or less coherence. And they just had the beginning of games, but now they have a lot of games for different ages on the computer and on phones, where when you hold heart coherence, then you get rewarded with the games, in the games. And when you lose heart coherence, you don't lose things on the games, but they kind of stop.
right.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
What a beautiful tool. What a beautiful tool that is. And I know with Karen Newell's research, she works with Evan Alexander, that when you do the sort of activity that you just took us through, or little meditation, that love and gratitude, even if a person is across the room that you're not touching, you're not looking at, that goes to them. That love, that energy goes to them, which is just in itself is so profound also.
Yes.
Wow.
And HeartMath has little videos that they've used graphics to show that.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to explore that even more. So, we don't have too much more time, but tell us a little bit about your book, My Awesome
Oh.
Story.
Well, one of the things I didn't mention was that PMH water helped me see that I had a near-death experience during birth.
I was going to ask you I actually just jotted that down, if you possibly had one because of everything you've told me.
Yes, yes. And so I didn't know that because PMH Atwater calls us birthers, and
Yes.
we don't tend to remember because there's no contrast between being, at any rate.
There's no beginning,
Yes,
or there's no past, or the way she explains it.
yes.
Yes, yeah.
But one of the things that often happens, and it did for me, is that we bond to the other side. We don't bond here.
Right, exactly.
So, in all of my journeys, I did a lot of studying with Barbara Marx Hubbard, who's considered the mother of conscious evolution. And then I had a year's personal mentorship with her. And a lot of what she teaches is about, she calls it cosmogenesis. How we, in this exact moment, are holding and carrying forth and connected to everything from the beginning of time, from the Big Bang. That everything that has occurred all the way up to this point, we hold within us and we are moving it forward. So, and I wanted a way to explain that to children. So one morning at 4 a.m., just this download came of this little book using repetition and rhyme and things so it's cosmogenesis for 3 to 8-year-olds, although there's some 10-year-olds that have really liked it. And it's available on Amazon, but what's not available on Amazon is I have a pamphlet of the conceptual and scientific background for the little book. And here's the little book. My Awesome Story.
Nice.
And so it's, for instance, in the progression where sparks become life, I became a wiggle, a wiggle, a wiggle. It's fun to float in the sea without a giggle. And so it's that kind of, and then it ends up with the challenge to our earth now.
Right.
And then how coming together and opening our hearts together solves the challenges that we face.
When did you write that?
2012.
2012. Wow. Well, I'm definitely going to get a copy of that, and it will be in the show notes. So, Kathryn, we do need to wrap it up, but I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, if you could take a walk with your 6-year-old self, what would you say?
I would say, sweetheart, there's so much waiting for you that you don't know about yet. You're going to be better than okay. You're going to love life. And what you go through now is not much fun. And you're strong, and it's helping you. And don't ever forget what a beautiful person you are.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Kathryn, what would you like to shout to the world?
What I want to shout to the world is children are our hope. Children are our teachers. Children are our gifts. There's no greater purpose than to assist a child.
Nice.
To be all that they came here to be.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much. You'll definitely have to come back and we need to explore a lot of these topics. We have so much in common. And I actually used to be a dancer also. We didn't talk about that just in college. It was just my minor. But how can people find you and find out more about your work and your webinar and all of those sorts of things?
My website is just my name, kathrynbrewer.com, and it's KATHRYN BREWER. And to find the webinar, the name of the webinar is Boosting Our Children's Resilience. It's on Thinkific. There is going to be very soon, in a few days, a page on the website. It's not there yet, but there will be a page on the website, so you can go to the website and click on the link to register. It's no cost, and it's August 11th from 10:30 to noon, which is a Wednesday. And on the website, there's also a link that I always have complimentary possibility sessions to just talk about what may be helpful for you at the moment, and if there's anything else, the explorations that I do or any of the other things that I do that would be helpful for you. But if not, you'll still get something.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's just been really an honor. And once again, I would definitely love to have you come back.
Oh, thank you. I would love it. And thank you for what you do. You asked about, is there anybody doing in-services? It's like you're doing an in-service.
Yeah, I hope I'm spreading a little light. It sure brings light to my heart, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. I will, and you too, and everybody else.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for listening in today. If you want to learn more about the show, you can find us at interviewswithinnocence.com and on Facebook or Instagram at Interviews with Innocence. Please write me a message, tell me what you liked, and let me know what else you would like to hear. I would love to hear from you. And if you liked what you heard, please leave us an iTunes rating and review. It helps other listeners find the show. Thank you.